Northwoods to the Rock Mount Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, Maine Democrats gathered over the weekend to elect county delegates who will choose a replacement for the Senate nomination. We'll have that story ahead.
Plus, a Mattawamkeag man was arrested after police say he struck and injured a family of 4 with a vehicle in Lincoln on Saturday.
And Loon Fest was also held over the weekend. We'll hear all about that coming up. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us. We'll have all the day's news coming up over the next hour. We have a special guest joining us to teach us how to mix some adult beverages.
Yeah, we're going to be watching a little mixology class with Uno's Pizzeria and Grill.
That's all skills that could come in handy someday.
Yes.
But first, to check on the forecast, kind of a mixed bag over the weekend. Had a little rain on Saturday. Yesterday turned out to be nice.
It was.
And it looks like today it's going to be another nice sunny day and temperatures a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
It was feeling a little cold, a little chilly.
It sure was.
Me. We're getting used to the hot stuff
We
now.
are, but it'll be nice to have more summer-like weather today.
Yeah.
We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have some clouds that are passing through this morning. We'll get those out of here. We're in for a nice day as the winds will be picking up as we head towards later on. Overall, a mostly sunny sky will be seen. We have a little bit of activity further off towards the north and west. High pressure will be in full control as it will keep the clouds clear. And fortunately, the smoke will be staying away from us today as well. The air quality will be looking nice for us. Overall, we will be looking nice. A mostly sunny sky, a few passing clouds today. We'll have clouds on the way later on tonight and more clouds on the way as we head towards your Tuesday. So overall for today, lots of sunshine, becoming breezy with highs in the upper 70s and that west wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. Overnight, here we go, a partly cloudy sky with lows in the mid 50s. Look at that south breeze really backing off to around 5 miles per hour. Already your hourly forecast as we check things out. Lots of sunshine today, a few passing clouds possible with temperatures warming up into the upper 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Sounds good. Thank you, Devin. Well, thousands of Maine Democrats gathered across the state over the weekend to elect county delegates who will choose a replacement for Graham Plattner's Senate nomination. More than 19,000 Maine Democrats were pre-verified to vote, including nearly 4,000 Democrats seeking to serve as delegates. And by the time it was over, it became clear that former Maine Senate President Troy Jackson picked up an overwhelming majority of support. He locked down the lion's share of support and is expected to be the Democratic candidate when the state convention is held on Saturday. Democrats meeting in Piscataquis County described this as an historic and unprecedented process.
It's kind of neat to be part of history. This is something that has never happened, I don't think, ever in Maine. And it's a big deal.
It will be critical for Democrats to be united, support our candidate, and work to make a difference so that we are truly represented in Washington by our U.S. Senator.
Well, the number of available delegate spots varied for each county. While Cumberland had 100 delegate spots, Piscataquis County could only have 4 delegates and 1 alternate. However, Maine Democratic Party leadership say in this process, every county and delegate matters.
Each county in Maine is so different, so unique, and they have a right to have their voices heard. So I don't want anybody to think that just because this is a small county, it's a throwaway county. It matters. The people here matter, and we value everybody's voice.
Results are available on the Maine Democratic Party website. A total of 601 delegates will select the new nominee at that nominating convention. It will be held at the Cross Insurance Center on Saturday. And the Senate hopefuls have until today to submit the signature requirements needed to qualify for that convention.
Well, some of the candidates for Senate ended their campaigns when it became clear that Troy Jackson had picked up a majority of support, including Secretary of State Shenna Bellows, who announced she's also ending her campaign. Bellows released a statement on Sunday saying, quote, "Donald Trump's attacks on our democracy are only accelerating, and the best way that I can serve our state and country at this moment is by focusing exclusively on my role as Secretary of State. This has been an unprecedented nominating process compressed into days instead of months, and I'm grateful to every volunteer who worked around the clock for this movement. That energy is exactly what we need to beat Susan Collins in November, and Democrats don't have a day to waste in unifying around that shared goal." Bellows, who recently came in fourth in Maine's Democratic primary for governor, announced her campaign for U.S. Senate on July 9th. And following her exit from the race, she did not endorse another candidate, but is urging Democrats to unite quickly behind the eventual nominee.
Dr. Nirav Shah has also suspended his campaign for U.S. Senate. In a statement, the former Maine CDC director said in part, quote, "A few weeks ago, I entered this race because I could not accept the idea of Susan Collins gliding to a sixth term at the very moment Maine families are being forced to pay their price for her votes. Today, I am stepping aside, and I am doing it for exactly the same reason that led me to get in. We must defeat Susan Collins, and the Democratic Party must be unified to do it." Shah also announced he's endorsing former Maine Senate President Troy Jackson to be the Democrat Senate nominee. Both Shah and Jackson lost to Hannah Pingree for the Democratic gubernatorial nomination during this past primary election.
Jordan Wood also announced that he's suspending his campaign and is endorsing fellow nominee Troy Jackson as well. In a social media post, he said, quote, "We are suspending our campaign for U.S. Senate, and I'm proud to endorse my friend Troy Jackson. To my team and our volunteers who gave everything around the clock with almost no notice, I am so grateful to you. This fight is bigger than any one person. I'll see you on the doors this November," end quote. Well, Wood was the third candidate vying to take Graham Plattner's now vacant Democratic U.S. Senate nomination to suspend their campaign on Sunday. And out of the three previously listed, only Shaw and Wood openly endorsed Troy Jackson for that nomination.
All right, moving on to other news now. A Howland man is dead after crashing into a median on Interstate 95 Saturday night. According to the state police, troopers responded to a report of a single vehicle crash in the median of I-95 near mile marker 210 in Edinburgh shortly after 8 p.m. Upon arrival, first responders found 61-year-old Bruce Ireland deceased inside the vehicle. Ireland was the only occupant of the car. Police say preliminary findings indicated that Ireland was traveling northbound on wet roads at a high rate of speed when he lost control of the sedan, which then entered the wooded median. Officials say he was not wearing a seatbelt, and the investigation is ongoing.
Meanwhile, a Mattawamkeag man was arrested after police say he struck and injured a family of four with a vehicle in Lincoln on Saturday. According to the Lincoln Police Department, the incident happened shortly before 3:30 at the intersection of Main Street and West Broadway. The preliminary investigation indicated the vehicle traveled through the intersection, left the roadway, drove onto the sidewalk, and struck a family of four. Police say that the victims included a 24-year-old female, a 29-year-old male, a 5-year-old child, and a 3-month-old infant. According to officials, the adult female sustained serious injuries and was taken to a hospital by Lifelight, and the 3 other victims were also taken to a hospital with what police believe are non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the vehicle was identified as 57-year-old Carl Hartley of Mattawamkeag. Police say that Hartley was arrested and charged with operating under the influence of methamphetamine. He was also charged with unlawful trafficking in scheduled drugs after officers found suspected illegal drugs and additional drug-related contraband during a search of the vehicle. He was taken to the Penobscot County Jail, and according to Lincoln Police, that investigation remains ongoing.
Now, authorities say a state trooper prevented a potentially deadly incident on Saturday night by intercepting a fleeing wrong-way driver on Interstate 95. According to the state police, it was shortly after 9 p.m. when a game warden was responding to a search and rescue call traveling northbound on Interstate 95 near mile marker 186 in Bangor. That's when the warden encountered a Chevy pickup truck driving erratically in the passing lane. Police say the driver, 60-year-old Lawrence Knowles of Norwich Walk, brake-checked the warden and then ignored the emergency signals. The warden notified police and attempted to stop the truck, and officials say the driver then used a restricted emergency vehicle crossover near mile marker 191 in Orono and then accelerated southbound to over 80 miles per hour before crossing over again at the Hogan Road in Bangor. traveling south in the northbound lane. Authorities say that's when a state police sergeant rammed the truck, forcing it from the roadway and into a ditch where another trooper and a warden boxed it in. Knowles was taken into custody after a brief standoff and is facing multiple felony and misdemeanor charges, including eluding an officer, OUI, drugs, reckless conduct with a dangerous weapon, among others. The suspect sustained minor injuries and was taken to a local hospital before taken to the Penobscot County Jail, and officials say that no officers were injured during that pursuit.
Meanwhile, a structure fire in Montville has been ruled as accidental. According to the fire marshal's office, investigators responded to Montville to investigate a reported structure fire involving a small camp. According to the Montville Fire Department, the incident happened on Choate Road at around 12:30 p.m. The property owner was not home at the time of the fire, and the fire was reported by a neighbor. Investigators determined that the fire was caused by the failure of a backup power bank that was being used to provide power to office equipment. Officials say electrical service had recently been restored to the area prior to that fire, and no injuries were reported there.
Hundreds of people in Bangor participated in a string of nationwide protests to call for the abolishment of ICE after a man in Biddeford was shot and killed by an immigration and customs enforcement agent on Monday. Our Callie Warren has sights and sounds from that rally.
The brutal taking of people, the brutal murder of people, this ICE violence needs to end.
Frankly, I'm scared. I'm scared for myself. I'm scared for my children. You know, they're out there still killing our neighbors and our friends, and that's not what the federal government should be doing. They're there to protect and serve, not squash us and kill us.
It's beautiful that people are showing out. I just wish that it didn't take a brutal murder of a community member for it to be possible.
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up like that!
It makes me feel very optimistic. You can tell that people are very disappointed with how things are going with ICE. Get people out into the streets to continue the mass movement, to continue to fight against ICE, because we can really achieve a better world if we all come together and struggle for it.
In other news, the Maine Supreme Judicial Court has overturned the results of a select board election in Clifton in a 4-3 ruling. The election was originally called for former select board member Cynthia Grant over Steve Armenia by a vote of 114 to 113 in March. The results came into question when the following day, 2 unaccounted absentee ballots were discovered and gave Armenia a 1-vote win over Grant. A Clifton resident challenged the ballots after it was discovered they were gathered by Armenia and belonged to family members. On Thursday, the Maine Supreme Judicial Court ruled that the 2 ballots would be counted per state law and the results in favor of Armenia would be certified. Residents of Clifton that we spoke with are concerned over the change, as well as questions regarding Armenia's own residents in Clifton. We spoke to 2 who did not want to be identified.
They didn't do the process right. They didn't take the ballots out. The right person didn't sign them in. There's a lot of stuff that went wrong. And then they say they found them 24 hours later. It's kind of sketchy. They shouldn't have counted.
He should not be allowed to be sworn in. He's not a legal resident of the town. Right. I can't run for a position on the select board for the town of Eddington because I reside in Clifton. I work in Eddington, but I reside in Clifton. So how can someone else from another town run in our town and get elected?
Armenia has been registered to vote and paid property taxes in Clifton since 2020, legally allowing him to run for office. In a phone call with us on Friday, he said, quote, "I think it's great the votes were counted, not just the fact that they were for me, but that the individual's rights weren't violated." Armenia will be sworn into his select board seat on Tuesday, the 21st, which is tomorrow. The time now is 8:14. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, a Bangor pop-up event space is now closing. We'll bring you the details ahead.
But first, another check of that forecast. A beautiful summer day ahead today, mostly sunny and breezy with highs near 79 degrees. Partly cloudy tonight with lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and windy, highs near 77. We'll be right back.
When I was 29, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I think part of research and advocating for more money for cancer research allows survivors to have more time. Senator Collins supports and advocates for more funding for cancer research so that people can have better treatments, they can have better outcomes, and therefore they can live better lives as cancer survivors. Thank you, Senator Collins. Continue fighting for our families.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes & More has a team of experts trained in pet orthotics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or for the hard-to-fit foot, with fashionable and functional footwear from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Teva, Taos, Ufus, and Birkenstocks. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
It's a big, big deal. Summer is a big deal at Toyota.
It's the final days of Toyota's Big, Big Deal Summer Event, where you could get an affordable $189 a month lease on a designed-to-wow, fuel-sipping Corolla gas sedan with a $10,614 total contract cost. Summer's a big, big deal at Toyota, the longest-lasting brand with the best resale value. So see your New England Toyota dealer.
It's a big, big deal.
Toyota, let's go places.
I am back. I'm here to help. I don't know what to do. Have you lost your passion?
This has been my life.
We're going to start again, and we're going to rebuild this thing. We've got each other's back. You can cook, girl.
That means a lot coming from you.
We're cooking with love.
A Bangor bodega turned pop-up event space is now closing, but its owner says it's not the end for the community that they've built. James Gallagher, owner of Bangor's Salty Brick Market, reopened the space as a place for pop-ups after a late 2024 fire damaged the commercial space that he was renting. Now he says the Main Street business will be closing for good, with a new business taking over that storefront. Gallagher held one final pop-up market to bid the establishment farewell, with half of the proceeds going to benefit local organization called Hope for Homeless.
It may look like something's ending or we're starting something new, but I mean, we're just kind of keeping the spirit in the community living outside of four walls.
What was once Salty Brick Market is now permanently closed, but Gallagher says that he has big plans to be announced in the near future.
Well, a note for drivers in Bangor: the busy intersection of Broadway and I-95 will be closed overnight. The Department of Transportation plans to close that intersection to install new equipment as part of that I-95 bridge replacement program. The closure will take place between 8 o'clock tonight and 5 o'clock Tuesday morning. Drivers heading north or southbound will have to take a detour to get around that closure.
Meanwhile, Lincoln's annual Loon Fest returned over the weekend, with plenty of folks out and about despite that rainy weather. Organizers say the event is a way to support the local economy by welcoming crowds to the downtown area. The weekend also offered a variety of things to enjoy, from live music to food trucks to local vendors and much more.
It's such a great time. I mean, Loon Fest really in Lincoln, I mean, it's just always such a great time to just have the community out, have the food trucks in town, and just have some really great entertainment.
Loon Fest weekend may be over now, but for more information on events in Lincoln, you can head to lincolnmaine.org.
Kind of mixed weather for that.
Definitely.
But
yeah,
they had a good time.
They sure did. Well, the time now is 8:18. After the break, new details have emerged about ICE investigations. We'll have more on that coming up.
Plus, we'll hear about recovery and cleanup efforts after last Thursday's big storm. Those stories and more straight ahead on Good Morning Maine.
Did you know Susan Collins was the deciding vote for Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade? And she voted to put more than 100 Trump judges on the bench. Because of Susan Collins, states are banning abortion with no exceptions for rape or incest. And women are dying. And she's still standing by it.
I do not regret that vote.
Tell Susan Collins, stop voting for Trump's anti-choice judges.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
Mow, dig, haul, trench. The reliable Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor is highly capable. A smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation and versatile attachments that help you handle the job. The Kubota BX Series, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Talk to your Kubota dealer to schedule a demo.
Available at Doors Equipment, 1468 Outer Hammond Street, Bangor.
Happy Endings in downtown Bangor. This is where a delicious dinner meets a great drink. From the first bite to the last, Happy Endings serves the kind of meal you don't rush. And behind the bar, smooth, crisp drinks made just right. Perfect for date night, a night out, or your new favorite stop downtown. Happy Endings, 32 Main Street, Bangor. Open 7 days a week. Follow us on Facebook for specials and events.
A powerful storm quickly moved through the state on Thursday, leaving a lot of damage in its wake.
And back on Friday, recovery efforts were still in progress as crews worked to restore power to thousands of Mainers. Our Doug Banks with that story.
Scotts Neck Road in Ellsworth, next to Green Lake, is one of the several areas Verse and crews were at on Friday, working to restore power to those impacted by Thursday afternoon storm.
For our crews, this is actually the most significant weather system, most impactful weather system in terms of outages that they've seen all year.
The powerful storm brought statewide tree damage and road debris.
We had crews ready, but we didn't know how quick and how hard it was actually going to hit.
A severe storm event like this, which is coming in the summer, is a bit different than a winter storm event. You know, in the winter, we don't have leaves on the trees, the ground is frozen. So in this case, the trees can actually catch all of the wind that's coming at them in the leaves like sails.
At its peak, Versant Power estimates 16,000 of its customers lost power.
The peaks of the outages were in Penobscot and Hancock County.
And CMP estimates 46,000 of its 670,000 customers lost power as well.
More than 5,000 customers, for instance, on a line that was impacted by a tree in the Bethel area.
On the coast, several ships and docks damaged. A cruise ship in Rockland broke away from its mooring, resulting in 4 people falling overboard. According to the Mid-Coast Villager, they were safely rescued. As of Friday evening, state authorities tell us they believe there was only one storm-related fatality. It occurred on Main Street in Corinth Thursday afternoon when Penobscot County Sheriff Troy Morton says a tree broke apart and went through the front windshield of a passing car, striking and killing the driver.
One of the children in a car seat in the back was treated and released. The second one was taken to a hospital with minor injuries. Obviously, investigation's still ongoing, but we had a tremendous storm that swept through the Corinth area here. And it's an older tree that sets right along Route 15 here, and the top of the tree broke off.
As storm recovery continues, officials ask people to stay away from downed trees and power lines.
Just keep a good distance away from all of that. Let the professionals who are trained go ahead and clear those trees and make those repairs.
You want to make sure you give them enough space, not just for their safety, but for your safety too.
Doug Banks reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
I noticed some of the crews were still out over the weekend cleaning up damage and cutting up trees and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, in my house, it seemed like 5 minutes. It really rained and the wind picked up and then it was over, but...
It wasn't too bad where I was either.
Yeah.
The power flickered a few times, but no trees down. I think we got kind of lucky.
We were the lucky ones,
We
I think.
sure were.
Yeah.
Well, now let's get a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Evan Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go as we check out the wave heights, just at around 2 feet according to the buoys. Right nearby, a little bit higher, further off towards the north and east, but the active surf is farther out towards sea at around 5 to 8 feet at this moment in time. Meanwhile, as we check out the water temperatures, in the 50s and 60s right now. Overall, pretty similar farther out towards sea, very much on the warmer side, farther down toward the south. As we do take a look at things, we do have clouds tracking from the west and going off towards the east at this time. We'll get those out of here. You can see a little bit of precipitation over in parts of Canada. That will leave us alone. High pressure will be in full control today with a mostly sunny sky. And overall today, again, we'll have the winds picking up today with winds gusting up to about 25 miles per hour. So futurecast moving forward for us, again, a mostly sunny sky. We'll have some clouds from time to time, becoming breezy as well. And we'll have that gusty wind again up to 25 miles per hour. More clouds on the way later on tonight. It will become rather mostly cloudy at times, even partly cloudy. And we'll have some rain on the way coming up, but not till about Tuesday night and Wednesday. Here we are right there. Showers and thunderstorms on the way as we head towards Tuesday night and even into parts of Wednesday. And that's where we have to watch things. So there is a marginal threat for some of those storms to turn strong to perhaps severe. Some gusty winds and hail will be possible with some of those storms as well. So here's what we're looking at too, the monkey meter, as we do check things out. As we head towards Tuesday into Wednesday, dew points will be on the rise coming up with that as well, into the middle to possibly upper 60s. So your forecast for today, we have a mostly sunny sky, breezy out there as well with highs in the upper 70s and that west wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. All right, later on tonight, we do have middle 50s under a partly cloudy sky and that south wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour, so backing off for a little while. Upper 70s for tomorrow, mostly cloudy and windy with that south wind getting up to about 35 miles per hour, so really becoming gusty again. All righty, let's check out your extended forecast. We have more showers and thunderstorms coming up for your Wednesday with highs in the mid 70s. And then for your Thursday, here we go, partly cloudy with highs in the upper 70s and then low 80s for your Friday under a mostly sunny sky.
Seasons Lounge and Banquet Center. We're just one block from Hollywood Slots in Bangor and are now under new management with a new chef and a completely redesigned menu. Come grab a drink and enjoy a meal with us. Fans, food, fun. Seasons.
Bob's Discount is about to go even further. The Massachusetts sales tax holiday is officially the weekend of August 8th and 9th, and it's already gimmicks galore out there. My competitors are saying they'll give you the tax savings now. I say, what savings? The tax has to be paid. It's the law, so it's just another one of their so-called sales. With Bob's Discount, you get untouchable values every day, with no phony sales and no phony gimmicks ever.
Oh, my Bob! Bob's Discount Furniture.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
Live from the Maine Lobster Festival in Rockland, it's the Lobster Crate Races. Watch fearless racers dash across floating lobster crates. Will they make it or take a spectacular splash? Who will stay on their feet and who will take the plunge? Don't miss the Lobster Crate Races live from the Maine Lobster Festival, Sunday, August 2nd at 2 p.m. only on Fox 22.
Seasons Lounge and Banquet Center. We're just one block from Hollywood Slots in Bangor and are now under new management with a new chef and a completely redesigned menu. Come grab a drink and enjoy a meal with us. Fans, food, fun. Seasons.
The American death toll is growing from the war in Iran. 3 service members are dead and 1 is still missing. Overnight, Iran striking back after the U.S. attacked for 9 straight nights. ABC's Karen Waugh is in Washington with the details.
This morning, the U.S. military carrying out more airstrikes against Iran. As many as 3 more American troops were killed over the weekend after Iran targeted a U.S. base in Jordan. 1 soldier is also still missing. The most recent death in northern Iraq. This video circulating online appears to show Iranian missiles hitting a military base in Jordan. Central Command also says a body found could be the missing 3rd service member. 18 Americans have now died from the Iran war. There are roughly 50,000 troops stationed in the region.
We feel very badly, but you know, those great people, those great patriots were out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
President Trump, speaking after attending the World Cup finals, says the U.S. will continue its attacks to honor the fallen soldiers. Overnight, the U.S. hit a series of targets to weaken Iran's ability to control the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has retaliated each time, sending missiles to U.S. allies, targeting a desalination plant in Kuwait that supplies about 90% of the country's drinking water, and setting off air raid sirens in Jordan.
Are the Iranians getting information, targeting information, intelligence from another country? If they are, that would explain how they're getting very accurate in their ability to reach out and strike not only our base in Jordan, but say the desalination plant, power plant in Kuwait.
Energy Secretary Chris Wright says President Trump will continue attacking until, quote, the mission is done.
His focus is on degrading the Iranian ability to terrorize the world, to hold world commerce hostage as they are doing right now.
A U.S. official tells ABC News more American warplanes are being sent to the Middle East, including fighter jets stationed in the UK and Germany. Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
Well, now to the investigation into recent shootings by immigration officers in Texas and here in Maine. The New York Times reports federal agents have been told the FBI will no longer investigate confrontations involving ICE officers. But the Trump administration denies that report. Once again, here's ABC's Karen Hua.
This morning, the Trump administration is denying a report in the New York Times, saying federal agents have been told the FBI will no longer investigate confrontations involving immigration agents. The Times reports agents were notified such cases would be instead handled by an agency called Homeland Security Investigations, which is an arm of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. This effectively leaves the agency to investigate itself. The FBI and Homeland Security deny there's been a policy change, saying this is false, adding the FBI will continue to investigate in accordance with agency policy. This report comes after 2 recent deadly shootings involving ICE officers, one in Biddeford, Maine, the other in Houston, Texas. In the Houston case, White House border czar Tom Homan says there may be an issue if the officers failed to activate emergency lights on their vehicles during the pursuit.
If they didn't activate the lights, again, I haven't seen that video. If they didn't activate the lights, then there's an issue there, right?
Video from the incident does not appear to show the emergency lights activated. The agents in both cases were not wearing body cameras. Homan says ICE is moving forward with plans to equip agents with cameras.
I think body cameras lets the American people know what that officer sees when he takes that action.
Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll follow a mixology class ahead of Uno's Tequila Day celebrations.
That sounds like fun.
It sure does.
All right, don't go away.
Purple Co is open and here to stay. Come join a growing community of like-minded people with monthly events, arts and concerts, daily deals, and the best products and prices in the state. Plus, don't miss Purple Co Bangor's annual party on 4/18. Now with 4 locations from Portland to Bangor. Come check us out today.
This Nissan lineup goes where you take it. Vehicles built with oomph, torque, traction, and yeah, full control. That's the power of a Nissan. Now's the time to drive. Nissan, Consumer Guide's most awarded brand 5 years in a row. Well-qualified buyers get 0% APR on select model trims or get up to $5,750 total savings on select Frontier trims.
Purple Co is open and here to stay. Come join a growing community of like-minded people with monthly events, arts and concerts, daily deals, and the best products and prices in the state. Plus, don't miss Purple Co Bangor's annual party on 4/18. Now with 4 locations from Portland to Bangor. Come check us out today.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Today is Monday, July 20th, 2026. It's also National Ice Cream Day.
This holiday was created by President Ronald Reagan in 1984 as a way to celebrate a treat that 90% of Americans enjoyed. Ice cream began as a frozen treat in China and Persia, and recipes have evolved over the centuries. The average American now eats 18 to 22 pounds of ice cream every year. Vanilla remains the most popular flavor, followed by chocolate, strawberry, then butter pecan, and cookies and cream.
That's a lot of ice cream.
It sure is. Sounds yummy.
Let's get right to history. Today in history on this date, in 1802, a 1,235-pound cheese ball was created at a farm in Massachusetts and was delivered by horse-drawn sleigh to President Thomas Jefferson at the White House, a trip that took 3 weeks. It had been pressed at the farm of Elijah Brown and was made by combining the milk from every cow in the town of Cheshire. They just wanted to give a nice gift to Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, very committed.
Not sure what they did with all that cheese,
I don't know.
All right, in 1881, Native American leader Sitting Bull surrendered to the U.S. Army 5 years after the infamous defeat of George Custer at the Battle of Little Bighorn. And in 1917, America's World War I draft lottery began as the Secretary of State picked the first draftee from a bowl while wearing a blindfold. More than 100,000 Americans would be killed in World War I.
And in 1969, astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first men to walk the moon. They had traveled 240,000 miles from Earth, and the entire world was watching as Armstrong spoke his famous words saying, quote, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," as he stepped from the lunar module. In 1977, a flash flood hit Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and more than 80 people were killed, and the flood caused more than $350 million in damage. The same town was nearly wiped out by a devastating flood 88 years earlier, which killed more than 2,000. And in 1977, the U.S. Navy frigate USS Constitution set sail from Boston for the first time in 116 years.
I think they recently took it out in the harbor, too.
I think so. Yeah.
All right, moving on to birthdays now. They include actress Sandra Oh, who is 55 today. Musician Carlos Santana is 79. And singer and dancer and actress and you name it.
Yes, everything.
She
Host.
can build your apartment, whatever you want. Julianne Hough is 38. Did I pronounce it right this time?
You sure did, yes.
Julianne Hough. She is 38 years old. Very talented lady.
Yes. We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have some clouds that are passing through this morning. We'll get those out of here. We're in for a nice day as the winds will be picking up as we head towards later on. Overall, a mostly sunny sky will be seen. We have a little bit of activity further off towards the north and west. High pressure will be in full control as it will keep the clouds clear. And fortunately, the smoke will be staying away from us today as well. The air quality will be looking nice for us. Overall, we will be looking nice. A mostly sunny sky, a few passing clouds today. We'll have clouds on the way later on tonight and more clouds on the way as we head towards your Tuesday. So overall for today, lots of sunshine, becoming breezy with highs in the upper 70s. And that west wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. Overnight, here we go. A partly cloudy sky with lows in the mid-50s. Look at that south breeze really backing off to around 5 miles per hour. Already your hourly forecast as we check things out. Lots of sunshine today. A few passing clouds possible with temperatures warming up into the upper 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
All right, thank you, Devin. Well, still to come here this morning, Max Sturm with sports, and stay tuned for that interview.
Have some bartending lessons.
We sure do.
All right, don't go away.
There's a lot to love about a Subaru. Find yours at Quirk in Bangor. Built on safety and reliability, lease Crosstrek Premium for $329 per month. Or lease Forester Wilderness for $397 a month. It's a Subaru summer. Find it at Quirk.
At Spectrum, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between speed, reliability, and value. That's why Spectrum fiber-powered internet gives you all three for just $40 a month. No contract, no commitment. And set up your internet in under 10 minutes. Spectrum fiber-powered internet delivers the most reliable internet for everything you do at home. Streaming, gaming, and connecting. Switch today and get Spectrum fiber-powered internet for just $40 a month. Call now or go online.
We've got a 100-year-old company here, and it's because of the service, the quality, and the experience. It gets done right.
I think we've been doing it for so long. The only thing that we do, that when we walk into a room, we automatically know how to treat that window. We can take any product that the customer's looking for and make it work in just about any situation that they present us with. So
There's no reason to be overwhelmed.
No.
We can help you through it.
We're not going anywhere. We've been around for 100 years.
Your internet experience feels different, ultra reliable, lightning fast. With Fidium 100% fiber, everything you do online works exactly like it should.
Night, bud.
Zach, go to bed. So is cable internet still slowing you down? Enough already. Fiber up to Fidium. Get a 2 gig plan for only $65 a month at fidiumfiber.com.
It's a hot leasing summer at Quirk Hyundai. Lease a 2026 Hyundai Tucson SE just $259 a month, or Elantra Hybrid for only $229 a month. Premium vibes, bold lines, and America's best warranty. Your Hyundai is waiting. Find it at Quirk.
Your goal is to put items in the correct order before, in between, definitely after.
This is The Perfect Line. Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
Folks, in the NFL, we have the Pro Bowl. Here in the great state of Maine, we have the Lobster Bowl. Welcome back in, everybody. I'm Max Sturm here at Lewiston High School in Lewiston, where all the action of the 36th annual Lobster Bowl took place. This is my first time coming to the Lobster Bowl, and I was so impressed by what I saw. Not only just the game, but the community impact that this game has. Seeing how many people showed up for it, the crowds, how loud they got, and of course, all of the charity donations. But we will get to all of that. I don't want to tease you guys anymore. We have some business to take care of first, showing you those highlights. On a rainy day, the game started off very defensively. Each team getting a couple of defensive stops on their first drives. Punts were going back and forth, but that did not last long because on the West's next drive, they were able to capitalize as Colin Moran from Bonnie Eagle broke the plane and the scoreless tie to take an 8-0 lead after the 2-point conversion. Then in the second quarter, the East showed the West their strength. They ran a 2 QB offense, which is very atypical, but they were switching quarterbacks every couple of plays, but make no mistake. On their scoring drive, it was all about Tatum Doucette from Messalonsky. He had multiple big runs, looking like Lamar Jackson out there, and he finished it off by getting through a few bodies and running it in for the short score. And folks, in a close game between the state's best players, it's no surprise that it got a little bit chippy out there, but not just a little bit chippy, it was very chippy. 5 personal foul penalties in the first half. Guys were putting hands on each other. They were trying to get in each other's head. Some of that penalty yardage helped the East back into the end zone with 7 minutes left in the half, and Aiden Malkali found his way in to take the lead. But hold on, folks, the West had something to say about that. They came down the field with less than a minute left to go in the half, and Moran dropped it off to Kai Turner, who turned on the Jets upfield for the tightrope score. But that fourth quarter is where it got really interesting. We had back and forth scores from the East and the West all the way down to the wire. It started with the West with an 80-yard touchdown strike with around 10 minutes to go. Then the East came back and scored themselves with 7 minutes left to go, and the West came away with the game-winning drive. 7 minutes, they used so much of that clock going down the field. Moran was throwing dots, and then finally, it was a 4th down situation at the goal line. One play or the game was over, and they come away with a touchdown strike from Moran to Kai Turner to win the game. It was an incredible play drawn up that they called during the timeout. Here is Kai to talk about that play.
And I'll tell you, at halftime, I was talking to Colin. I was telling him that seam ball is going to be there. The linebacker wasn't getting hands-on, wasn't jamming me. I got a free release up the middle, and I told him that if he ever needs it, it's going to be there. And when we needed it was at halftime, at the timeout. Coach Coop called the timeout. we walked over and I told him, I said, Coach Coop, the seam ball is going to be there. And he trusted me, and it worked out. And so I'm very happy.
Now, folks, it was an incredible game, but what's more incredible is just what this game is to the state of Maine and the communities in Maine. If you talk to the players, they'll tell you just how much this opportunity means to them to play one final game as a high school senior.
The week of practice up at Dover Foxcroft, I'm really thankful for them giving us the facilities needed. I mean, it was unbelievable. How fast the chemistry was built. It was truly unbelievable. These boys that I met this week and only known for a week are ride or die friends for the rest of my life. This is a moment that comes for every football player, and I think just hold your head high, keep going. I mean, it was a blast.
For coaches like Dan O'Connell, it gives him the opportunity to work with players that he otherwise would not be able to get the opportunity to. This is his 18th Lobster Bowl coaching job, and it was a special one for him with his son Matt playing in it. But he made connections with all of the players on the field tonight.
I'm blessed to have the opportunity. I'm blessed to be a part of this game in this state. I've had great people go before me. My youth coaches, my high school coaches, my college coaches, the coaches that I've coached against and with in this game. And now to be almost 20 years into this thing, special to be a part of it, special for my family. I'd like to thank them because they give up a week too. It's just awesome. Great cause, great people, great sport, great opportunity. I'm just humbled to be a part of it.
I think what's most impressive about this weekend in this game, though, is the months prior to the game, a bunch of 17 and 18-year-olds are asked to go out into their communities and raise money for Maine Shriners Children's Hospital, and they did an incredible job. They went over expectations, breaking the record with $317,000 raised as of Saturday night.
I think we ended up at over 317 before kickoff today. Which is about $90,000 higher than our previous record. So just an outstanding job by the young men and women that represented, their schools and their communities and being part of the Lobster Bowl. We're very grateful for the effort they put in.
And we got great kids. We got great kids. When they're committed, they do great things, and they did that this week. East and West and the cheerleaders all killed it. And that's why we raised $317,000 for the world's greatest philanthropy. I don't know how you don't get involved in that, and anybody who's watching this, find a way next year.
As a first-time Lobster Bowl attendee, I had a fantastic time. It was a successful one. It wasn't a dry one. It rained all day, but it was successful. For right now, though, that is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Picture this: driving a new car, taking that dream vacation, or walking through the front door of your first home. Maine Credit Unions can help make your dreams a reality. Find one near you at mainecreditunions.org.
Chevy drivers across America will do a lot in the next 5 years. But one thing they won't do is pay interest on their new Chevy. Right now, get 0% financing for 5 years on all 2026 Silverado 1500 models, with no payments for 90 days. Because you've earned this summer. Now it's time to go get it.
Visit your Maine Chevy dealers.
Keep your boat safe, functional, and beautiful with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company. Your Hammond sales rep can help you choose the perfect lift for your boat. Shoremaster's exclusive Whisper winch offers the industry's smoothest and quietest operation. Add speed and convenience with a Shoremaster lift motor. And Shoremaster's modular Infinity design makes it easy to upgrade with accessories when you're ready. Take your boating experience to the next level with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Located on Wilson Street in Brewer, Yoshi Japanese Restaurant, where you'll find only the best sushi, Asian favorites, and specialty crafted cocktails that will satisfy anyone. Try tatami seating for an immersive experience. Yoshi Japanese Restaurant, bringing delicious traditions to you.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
We both grew up camping. She said, let's get a camper out of the blue.
It was a large investment, so we went down to our local credit union.
Just because of their service. When you walk in somewhere and the people are friendly, they say hi to you as soon as you walk in the door, you feel like you're home.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here once again with our friend Mike Deneen from Uno's Pizzeria and Grill. Mike, thanks so much for joining us
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So you guys have a little mixology class coming up
Yes.
very soon, and we're going to kind of get a little brief demo of what
Okay.
that's supposed to look like.
Yep.
So let's walk through the steps of what drinks you guys will be making in that class.
Okay, so the class is going to be this Friday
Yep.
from 6 to 8, and we're going to be making 3 different drinks. We're going to make our Uno's House Margarita, we're going to make our Paloma, and we're going to make our Oaxaca Old Fashioned.
All right.
With tequila.
Sounds good.
I'm excited for this.
All right, so first is the easy one. We're going to do the House Margarita. So we need to add some ice to the shaker because we're going to be shaking it right in there.
Okay.
Don't mind me, I'm going to throw some ice all over the place.
It's all good.
All right, so first ingredient is the Terramana tequila. We need 2 ounces of that. So we'll pour that right in the measuring device. That goes right in. Then we need our triple sec, which gets 1 ounce.
Nice.
Pour that right in there, and I'm just spilling stuff all over you guys.
It's all
That's
good.
okay.
It's all
We'll
good.
clean it after. No problem.
And then the sweetener here is confectionery sugar.
Okay.
Gonna go right in there. And then the hard part, with my bartenders love at Uno's, because we do this for every single drink we drink or make, is fresh lime juice for every single one.
Nice.
That's the good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
And
not-
is it just 1 lime in there? Or
It's 2 limes, 2 to 2.5 limes, yep.
Okay.
So they get some work in their forearms making these.
Totally.
I like a good margarita too. It's nice on a hot day.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
So this is great for anybody. I mean, I don't,
Right.
I'll be honest, I don't know a lot of recipes for drinks or things like this. So this will help you out if you have some people visiting the house or something.
Right, you could
Yeah.
make one
Yeah.
for people. Yeah, that is good. And it would be a good event too to go with maybe friends or whoever to get some experience
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
this from you guys.
And now, the other hard part is shaking this. So you gotta shake this for 20 seconds.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're
Without getting it all over the
Yeah,
place.
it's like noisy for the cats, yeah.
We'll do a little dance while he's doing that.
So it's gonna be a quicker 20 seconds than normal they do at the restaurant. So we take that right off there, and then
strain it.
strain it. Yeah,
Yes.
these little easy strainers. Some of the girls use the glasses to
Right.
strain it. I'm old fashioned. I use strainers. So
And you pre-salted the glass.
Oh yeah,
yep,
the brim.
pre-salted the glass. Yep.
Yep. Nice.
Oh, that looks
Yeah.
good.
That does look yummy.
And then garnish with a lime wedge.
Nice.
Beautiful.
That's round 1.
Round 1.
Yeah.
The classic, is it classic margarita?
The classic
Mar-
Uno's margarita. Yep. Yep.
Nice. All right, what's number 2?
So the Paloma is a lot easier. So that's the time-consuming one. So it
Okay.
also gets 2 ounces of the Terramana tequila.
Okay.
That's a special tequila too, isn't it?
Yep.
Made by, did you say by The Rock?
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah.
Really? Yep.
Yeah.
That's too
I don't
funny.
know if he actually makes the tequila,
Yeah,
but
I don't think he does the
it's
work,
his
but-
thing.
It's his
Yeah.
brand, yeah.
So this gets 5 ounces of grapefruit juice, which this one is. That's a colored grapefruit juice.
Mm-hmm. That looks tasty.
Yep.
Huh.
And it gets garnished with a lime wedge. So
Just pop it right
That's
on
an
there.
right on
easy
there, lime
one.
on
Nice.
wheel.
That
Yep.
is easy.
That's a
That-
simple one. Yep.
That would be a good one for people to make at home and kind of test first
Yeah.
with you guys.
Yeah.
And then what do we have third? This
So
is the
this one's
old-fashioned.
is the Oaxaca Old Fashioned.
Okay.
We'll do this one real quick because we're running out of time.
Running out of time.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
so we got 2 ounces of Terramana.
Yep.
Pour it right in the shaker.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get 1 ounce of the Dos Hombres tequila, a different type of tequila.
All right. Right in there.
Yeah. Just a little bit of simple syrup.
Okay.
And
Just a splash of
Just
that.
a splash. And then a splash of bitters. And bitters, you don't want to use too much of that because
Yeah.
you'll taste it.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and this is just gonna get right.
Right in the glass?
Yeah, this gets the big
Oh, the big
ice cu-
circle
yes,
ice
the big
cube.
circle ice cube. Then it is shaken in here as well. Just quickly though.
Yeah. Do a quick little shake there.
And then strain right over the top of the big ice cube.
Right in there.
Right in there. And this is an old fashioned, so this one isn't
a full glass,
isn't a full
right?
glass. So
Yeah.
people think.
Yeah, you just sip on that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
An orange wedge and looks like cherries.
Looks
Very
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And
So-
again, if people want to do that, it's coming up, what, this Friday?
It's coming up this Friday. It's from 6 to 8 in our restaurant. And
sign up. How can people
Yep,
sign
people
up
can sign
for
up
it?
at eventbrite.com.
Perfect.
Or they can call the restaurant and get signed up. And all these drinks do have a food pairing with them. So the first one gets our chips and guacamole, the second one gets our quesadilla, and the third one gets our chicken fajita deep dish pizza.
Sounds
Nice.
good to me.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
You could dazzle and amaze your friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for coming in again.
Yes,
and
thank you for having me. I appreciate
do a
it.
little
I
taste
have to
test.
sip it real quick.
Yeah.
I love a good margarita.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go as we check out the wave heights, just at around 2 feet according to the buoys. Right nearby, a little bit higher, further off towards the north and east, but the active surf is farther out towards sea at around 5 to 8 feet at this moment in time. Meanwhile, as we check out the water temperatures, in the 50s and 60s right now. Overall, pretty similar farther out towards sea, very much on the warmer side, farther down toward the south. As we do take a look at things, we do have clouds tracking from the west and going off towards the east at this time. We'll get those out of here. You can see a little bit of precipitation over in parts of Canada. That will leave us alone. High pressure will be in full control today with a mostly sunny sky. And overall today, again, we'll have the winds picking up today. With winds gusting up to about 25 miles per hour. So futurecast moving forward for us, again, a mostly sunny sky. We'll have some clouds from time to time, becoming breezy as well, and we'll have that gusty wind again up to 25 miles per hour. More clouds on the way later on tonight. It will become rather mostly cloudy at times, even partly cloudy, and we'll have some rain on the way coming up, but not till about Tuesday night and Wednesday. Here we are right there, showers and thunderstorms on the way as we head towards Tuesday night and even into parts of Wednesday. And that's where we have to watch things. So there is a marginal threat for some of those storms to turn strong to perhaps severe. Some gusty winds and hail will be possible with some of those storms as well. So here's what we're looking at too, the monkey meter, as we do check things out. As we head towards Tuesday and Wednesday, dew points will be on the rise coming up with that as well, into the middle to possibly upper 60s. So your forecast for today, we have a mostly sunny sky, breezy out there as well with highs in the upper 70s and that west wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. All right, later on tonight, we do have middle 50s under a partly cloudy sky and that south wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour, so backing off for a little while. Upper 70s for tomorrow, mostly cloudy and windy with that south wind getting up to about 35 miles per hour, so really becoming gusty again. All righty, let's check out your extended forecast. We have more showers and thunderstorms coming up for your Wednesday with highs in the mid 70s. And then for your Thursday, here we go, partly cloudy with highs in the upper 70s and then low 80s for your Friday under a mostly sunny sky.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
It's the summer savings event at number 1 Darlings Kia. Get hot savings like a new Kia K4 for under $200 a month. Or lease a new loaded 7-passenger Carnival for just $399 a month. Plus, every new Kia comes with our 10-year or 100,000-mile warranty. The best in the business. Get hot savings all month long during the summer savings event at number 1 Darlings Kia. The best cars, the best prices, and the best warranty. You'll do better at Darlings.
Family owned and operating in the Bangor area for more than 10 years. Crosby's Welding is here to help you. We specialize in steel, stainless steel, and aluminum welding and fabrication. We serve many of the local industries from Maine lobstermen to the commercial trucking industry and everything in between. Fully mobile on-site construction services right down to custom signs and fire pits. Fast, friendly, reliable service. Give us a call today for a free estimate, 974-7815.
You know Matt pretty well. Did he give you any advice?
He said that I should use 26 words or more.
When every word counts.
Trash panda.
Raccoon.
You had me a trash panda. That was gangster.
It pays to choose wisely.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
You just won it!
25 words or less every weekday.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Today on 25 Words or Less, she's famous for being selective over which roles she takes. Ah yes,